Hello and welcome to My Vote Rocks. This is the show where we are trying to get a sense of what young India feels about a number of issues and also to see how keen all of them are to go out and vote in the next election and to try and persuade them to do a little bit more on that. In this particular episode, we are going to be taking a look at the concept of being Indian, at patriotism, at what the country means to us and what makes us proud to be Indians, what perhaps might make us ashamed to be Indians. So right at the outset, before I even introduce my guests, can I ask for a show of flags from all of you? How many of you are proud to be Indian? How many of you are proud to be Indian? Okay, I'm very happy to say that there are an entire sea of green flags. I'm looking for a red flag, actually. There are no red flags, so I'm happy to say that everyone here is proud to be Indian. That's good to hear, that's good to see. Any of you is there anyone here who would have preferred to be some other nationality? If so, wave a green flag. Somebody would prefer to be another nationality? Not a single one of you. Wow, we have a really patriotic audience out here. That's great, that's fantastic, that's good to see. All right, let me just welcome our special guests that we have out here, and then I'll tell you what the rest of the nation thinks about these subjects. It's give me great pleasure to welcome, sitting right here, Professor Yogendra Yadav, National Executive Member of the Aam Aadmi Party, and also somebody who knows more about polls than just about anybody else I know, so you can help us decipher some of the trends that are emerging from this. Nandita Das, actor, film director, it's a pleasure to have you with us, Nandita. Thanks so much for being with us. Malini Chib is joining us as well. She's from Mumbai. She's an author. Molly, great to have you with us. Vishwajyoti Ghosh, graphic novelist, here with us. Thanks also for being with us. And of course, a large audience filled with young people. Why don't you also, all of you out there on cyberspace at least, tell us what you think of that overall question. Are you proud to be Indian or not? And how proud are you to be an Indian? That question is running on second screen on the NDTV app. You just have to open the NDTV app, tap second screen. That question is there. Let's just see where the present voting is on that question. So there you have it. That's what the voters out there are saying right now. Majority very clearly very proud to be Indians. Let me just get the sense from all of our panelists before I come to the audience out here. If all of you are proud to be Indians, why? What's the reason for that? Let me start off with you, Nandita, first. Overall question of patriotism. This audience, everyone says they are proud to be Indians. Do you think that would have changed in the last 20, 25 years? Is it more for the young than it would have been for an earlier generation? What do you feel about it? You know, there is so much of patriotism that we are taught right from our childhood. I can imagine what it must have been during the national movement when we were trying to get freedom from the British Raj. So I think what patriotism meant then would have been completely different from probably what we mean today. We don't have an obvious enemy. You know, nothing really brings us together in the same way. So I think it differs. As far as I'm concerned, I think these are given identities, whether it's your nationality, your religion, even your gender. And I don't feel ashamed, I don't feel proud. I'm happy to be an Indian, that's all I know what to be. But in a soft patriotism way, which is not towards the jingoistic side of it, I think there is something that does brings us together. And definitely voting for our leaders is one thing. But also reaching out to people when there is a calamity, you do feel that, oh my God, this has happened in your country, you want to reach out. So I think there are good aspects of patriotism, but I'm one of those who would say my country is the best. I think that's an emotion everybody has a right to, and it's not about who's the best, but yeah, I love my country. Okay, Nandita. Malini Chib.
I am proud to be an Indian.
I'm proud to be an Indian.
But I hope my country recognizes my people.
But I hope my country recognizes my disability.
I am on my wheelchair.
I'm on my wheelchair.
I need love. I need access.
I need access
to be more visible.
To be more visible.
I hope the country and the government recognize that.
I hope that my country and the government recognizes that.
So proud to be Indian, but does India always give back to every single Indian the full rights and the freedoms that everyone takes for granted? That's another question, Molly, that we need to come back to and we will discuss at some length. Yogendra, let me get your thoughts.
In the same vein as Nandita said, in some ways, this is a sheer accident of birth. As I keep saying, could have been born on the other side of the border as well. And this kind of nationalism which turns jingoistic, which is about cricket, which is about, you know, Pakistan and those kind of things, that leaves me cold. I mean, I must say that doesn't really touch me very much. But I do feel
small minority on that, I might add.
Don't know. Even if
are you okay now? Be honest. Hand on your heart. India's beating Pakistan in a one. Or forget about Pakistan. India's beating somebody in a cricket match. It doesn't get you doesn't get you jumping up and down.
I do get excited about these things, but if there are all kinds of things. If my people from my town were to do well, I feel very good. If people living in Patparganj do that, if in my village do that, etc. All of us have these little things. Okay. But that's not what your nationalism is all about. And if nationalism being reduced to that, it would be a pity. I feel proud of being an Indian, and for the following reasons, not the reasons of this cricket match kind variety. One, when the whole world thought democracy could only be done by people who were prosperous and educated, India showed that democracy could be instituted in a poor country.
Okay.
Two, the whole world thought that in order to be a nation, you have to have one religion, one language, one race, everything. India showed that you could be politically united and diverse.
Okay.
Three, when everyone thought and thinks that the path of development followed by Europe has to be scripted everywhere else in the world, some Indians thought that the world can be different. These are three things that make me proud of being an Indian, but that also means that off and on, I do feel ashamed of being an Indian. Okay. 1984, 2002, figures about malnutrition, figures about poverty. Yes, I feel very ashamed.
So let's come to some of those things. Vishwajyoti, let me just get some early comments.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, as Malini and Yogendra and Malini Nanta said, I mean, a lot of it is given. But having said that, it doesn't have to be manifesting itself to an exuberance of a cricket stadium. I mean, I still watch cricket and I still feel for the cricket team because I always feel that Sachin's my age, Virat is the boy next door. It's that sentiment that brings me to cheer for the Indian team. It's not for the Indian team or the tricolour that's really waving my heart. At the same time...
Is that so? You again must be in a real minority here.
No, I mean, I think we are moving towards an end.
I mean, come on. Are you saying because they are closer to your age, you are cheering for them? So
no. One of them is closer to my age. I'm quite old that way. What I'm saying is, there's a certain sentiment you attach with each of the players. I don't feel the same for Ricky Ponting.
It's the players
somehow.
And not the flag and the fact that it's an Indian team.
It's not necessarily the Indian flag that's really waving me. I think it's the bunch of players who are...
Can I ask this?
Vikram, just once again, about this minority that you're talking about. Just let's remember that the people who gave this nation nationhood, all of them belong to that minority. Rabindranath Tagore, he actually thought nationalism was a narrow creed. Mahatma Gandhi actually made fun of this kind of nationalism that we take pride in today. So, minority is a significant minority.
I'm quibbling about something else with him than I was quibbling about with you.
Sure.
What I'm quibbling about in his case is that if the Indian team is doing well and is winning and people are excited about it...
So am I. So am I.
But you said you're excited because of the player and not because it's India that is winning.
No, I still want India to win. I mean, when India wins, I really like it because it's my boys. Somehow it's like... my friends who are winning it for me.
Okay, let me ask all of you.
Tell me something. When India is playing against West Indies at Lords, a Pakistani who waves for India, does that make him any less patriotic? Does that make him any less Pakistani? Similarly, Indians cheer for Pakistan when Pakistan is playing in another third country in a third place. Does that make us any less
You're sure
Indians?
about that? I'm not as convinced about that as you are.
People do that.
How many of you would cheer for Pakistan if they were playing in another country? How many of you would cheer for Pakistan? Green flag if you would, red flag if you wouldn't.
I would.
Well, okay, I have to tell you that this entire... I can't see only three... You, Yogendra and 3 green flags there. Nobody else would cheer for Pakistan.
No, I can see 10 in this room, but that's fine.
Okay, there are 3 more here. Fine.
Minority votes.
Let me ask, let me get this thing out. What really gets people's... All of you said you were proud to be Indian. Let me get a sense of why. Why are you proud to be Indian?
Well, as you said, that India is rich in diversity. You can't find that in any other country. And if you talk about that, if we will cheer Pakistan, that we are not seeing the country there. It's the talent in the country. I would cheer for Shahid Afridi. He is very talented.
He is?
Very talented, yes.
It depends.
See, again, we are eventually...
Every third innings
No, Vikram, eventually we are again...
Shahid Afridi, but...
In the longer thing, eventually we are again moving towards cricket and patriotism.
Yeah, but that's what it eventually reduces.
I mean, that eventually boils down to that.
Nandita, you wanted to say something?
No, I said, why are we bringing it nationalism down to just India and Pakistan? I mean,
or even cricket.
Are we going to just define our patriotism based on Pakistan, or they have to define? And why is it only cricket? You know, when you're abroad and you talk of a South Asian identity, when there's a room full of whites and there are 5 browns, and you know there is a Sri Lankan or a Bangladeshi or a Pakistani or an Indian, then there is a South Asian identity. So it also depends where you are. Within India, if there are people from different regions, then people become far more regionalistic than Indian, because everybody is an Indian.
We didn't ask this question, what makes you proud of being an Indian? And we got from Yogendra some of that. Here's what the results and the answers of the opinion poll that you threw out. 50% said history and culture. That's the one thing that makes us proud of being an Indian. 44% said cricket. That's what the opinion poll said. Hey, Nandita, I can't help it. That's what the opinion poll is saying. And 32% said religion and spirituality. Malini, why don't you go first? Would you agree with those? History, culture, cricket, religion and spirituality?
Yeah. But I really have to look more into diversity.
Yes, but I think we need to look more into diversity.
We are not looking into all the marginalized.
We're not looking at all the marginalized groups.
We are doing good them. We are a part of all India.
We have to include them and make them a part of all India.
We have people, the women,
The disabled, the women,
all other marginalized
all other marginalized groups.
have to be on.